Hello, viewers. Welcome back to Jazzy Insights. Thank you for your subscriptions, your shares, and for being part of this channel. I do appreciate you. Obviously, tempers have been going high recently concerning the IBOM AIR and comfort enhancing situation. But I guess now we are more relaxed to look into the issues critically. So this will be an analysis of the whole happening based on witness information and or eyewitness information and the information available to us in the media. Let's critically look at this whole situation. Why it is particularly interesting or concerning to me to still talk about this, because I have seen that in Nigeria, news comes and goes. It's just like a theater where you just keep rolling out or viewing news and situation, where you keep viewing news and situation day in, day out, and once the first one is up, we move to the next one. We quickly move to the next one. And what is it we have moved to now? Before I go into that, I think we should still talk about this immense situation, especially because the Minister of Aviation has given orders, and that's where we are in the country, that big people, big heads give orders and things go away. So situations revolve around authorities, like offices of big people, and not processes or systems, such that those things will repeat again. Someone has asked, do we have a vision as a country? Do we have a national goal, a national dream, a national value, a national, how do I put it? That Nigerian dream that every government should be working towards, no matter the party line, no matter the divide you belong. Once we are faced in the same direction, once we are pursuing the same thing, we think that we will be getting results towards progress, towards continuously improving what we are doing. So the minister and the so-called big people who have unilaterally handled this thing the way they think they should handle it. So for me, I always say that they're improvising leadership, as in whatever we do or follow is a function of their the moment, their mood, what they think, and how it affects, especially the political class or the elite class. Because right now, the way the country is structured in a way, or functions, not structured, the way the country is functioning, let me also say structured, is like there's a two divide. One, the elite political class, and then the Nigerian people. So you see that when I say that these people are the law, the government, the running of the country revolves around them. So when they make policies, they look at how it affects them. When they make decisions, they look at how it affects them. When they enact any law or take actions, especially like the case of this airline situation, they look at how it affects them. And that is what they do. They seem to favor themselves. We see it play out in the one situation where, because the guy has access to Mr. President and those who know Mr. President, he is able to broker some level of favorable stance for himself. I don't blame him either, because the human nature is such that you will always want to save yourself. So if the system allows you to cut corners to do that, those who are not willing to bear any brunt will use that mechanism. And I will say there is just a very few who cannot bear the brunt. So how do we forestall things like this? It is in putting systems. Systems make sure that no matter how you desire to save yourself at all costs, you will still pass through some routes, some procedures that will make you accountable to some extent, such that you don't have your way just because you know somebody or you know who knows somebody. I think this preamble is long enough, so let's dive right into analyzing that situation from the start. So this is a lady who sets out in a journey and dresses up. I have explained that part where people say this lady is a hookup girl, olosho, and those words feel heavy in my mouth that I don't even want to use it to describe any person. Yeah, that's how serious it is. I don't want to use it to describe any person. So this lady sets out on a journey from Akwa Ibom, Cross River State, to Lagos State. I will always say that nobody sets out on a journey to go and fight or make issues. Nobody wants to leave his house to go and face the most humiliating situation like we saw that lady go through. And for those who are saying she is not properly dressed, I have also said that, what do you call braziers or bra, as we call in our side of the world? It doesn't necessarily have to be that rubber that is tying your breath. It is anything that gets you clad. And health-wise, people are not even advised to dress in the ways we even see as most desirable, if not for the sake of packaging. If we look at it from the angle of health, you're going to dress in the most simplest forms and probably have your body part sometimes swinging. But because of that decency, we just go through some inconveniences to come out acceptable. Yeah. So let me not divert. This person sets out on a journey only to get into the plane, and then there's an instruction. What is that instruction? The instruction is to put off your phones. That's a general procedure, a procedural protocol that every airline goes through. Every passenger also gets those instructions. So it is given generally, and I have asked how the instruction gets personal, just zero down to one person. How did the instruction zero down to one person? If you have flown before, you will know that the instruction goes out to every member of the air flight. So did someone pick on you? Were the phones being checked one after the other per passenger, or one passenger was singled out? So this is where that problem started, that somebody got personal with the passenger. Okay, let's say by reason of where she was sitting, like we're going to hear from the eyewitness who said we were sitting by the aisle. By reason of where they were sitting, the aisle, the walkway, she probably would have been spotted fiddling with her phone. And then the air hostess says, switch off that phone. And for somebody to now answer back to say, I already put it in air flight mode before I entered the plane, the eyewitness said that shows that that person is willing to do the right thing, knows that I should do the right thing. Okay, and the air hostess goes, no, not flight mode, turn it off. Now we have come to ask questions about the safety of the plane when it comes to turning off phone and putting it off. And you know, us in Nigeria, how emotional we can be, especially when it comes to things about life, safety, and religion. So don't even look for trouble when it comes to airplane safety. Everybody's going to be touchy and at you when they perceive or feel that you are going to be a problem in the process. And Nigerians love life. Nobody wants to be accidented in an airplane, including the person they're asking to switch off the phone. So, and because of the sensitivity, how sensitive this matter is, anybody that hears it, why don't you take simple instruction? Simple instruction. People are already even saying that if you don't switch off your phone, the plane will crash. But let's hear from the experts. And things have also improved over time. Over time, things have improved. So they've said it's not necessarily because it will crash the plane, but it might interfere with signaling, like radio frequency can interfere. It's just like those days when you're listening to a program and you just be hearing another frequency interfacing with the one you are on. And it's like you're hearing two stations. So when there is that interference, it means that the pilot can be confused in terms of instructions coming from what's the name of that room? I'm not an aviation person, but I think it is at least the signal coming for the pilot from the watchtower or something like that. Not necessarily about. Anyway, I'm not the expert. I will hear from the expert.
Fortunately or unfortunately, the technology is not at a point where everything can go hand in hand. You need to understand that there's a saying in the aviation world that the rules and the regulations are built in blood. it is such a safety precaution where we don't want a situation, or the safety people don't want a situation where, because phones are left on, it now interferes with your radar, or it now interferes with your GPS. You're supposed to be going Lagos to Ore, and because someone's phone, I'm not saying, I'm just exaggerating now, because you're supposed to do Lagos to Ore, you end up doing Lagos to Benin, for instance. So just because of the safety, the professionals have said, or the experts have said, hey, just let everyone switch off their phone. It's going to be easier for us to handle. And I feel like that's just what is going on. There's no proving, or I don't think there's any proof that says, okay, if all the phones are on, the aircraft will crash, or if you go to this country and leave the phones on it. I don't think anything has happened like that. I don't think a phone has actively caused a crash. However, there's nothing like being too careful.
So let's look at that situation.
I was sitting to her immediate left. So I was on the aisle seat to the left. She was on the aisle seat to the right. So my seat number was 14B. There was a gentleman to my left who was on 14A. So her own seat number should be either 14C or D. I think the window seat is 14D, while she was 14C on the aisle. So we're right next to each other, and it was a small plane. So I think the distance between us was no more than 2 feet. Yeah, so I heard everything. I saw all that transpired. And yes, she was triggered. Even though the lady, the air hostess, the second air hostess was speaking to her, was directing all her instructions to her, just me sitting down there, I actually felt humiliated myself, just looking at the way the lady was being spoken to. To be fair, IBOM AIR instructed very clearly. The first air hostess that came instructed very clearly, no airplane mode, switch off your phone. After takeoff, then you can put on and put flight mode. So it was very clear. The first air hostess addressed us on the emergency exit row protocols. After she did that, she spoke to Miss Emerson and said, please switch off your phone. She told her twice, and then this first air hostess left to continue her duties. The second air hostess, who is the one blocking exactly who is being shown now, that second air hostess now came towards us in the emergency exit and stood, even from her posture, see that she came for trouble. And Miss Emerson had been fiddling with her phone. I noticed she was trying to do some stuff, I don't know. And so she told her again, switch off your phone, switch off your phone. And Miss Emerson said clearly to her, I heard it. She said, please, the buttons on my phone to switch off are not working. They are not working, so I don't know how to switch it off. And the woman said, no, switch off your phone. So that back and forth went on. So at the point, the second house, I said, look, you're even using an iPhone, so you don't need a button to switch it off. So the lady said, okay, I don't know how to do it. Can you do it for me? She said, I'm not touching your phone. I'm not touching your phone. Just switch it off. She said, I don't know what to do. So the lady now said, okay, go to settings. And when you go to settings, go to general. So the girl was holding and said, see, please, I can't understand what you're saying. I can't read. I don't know what you're saying.
There was a clear instruction from the airplane. And then someone is struggling to effect that instruction. Then another person who feels she is enforcing the instruction comes and triggers the passenger. Okay, at this point, people have been saying, how can she not know how to turn off her phone? It's possible. And at this point, I will also say it doesn't matter whether we feel she's illiterate or cannot operate a phone or not. It doesn't matter. Those are very relevant points. So let's even assume that it matters. So let me say it's very possible and true that someone is struggling with turning off their phone. How? It's possible it's a new phone. It's possible you just bought the phone and you are still trying to find your way around it, trying to understand the gadget. It's possible you are flying with someone's phone. Maybe you picked up your sister or a family member's phone. Maybe something had happened to your own phone. It's also possible that in the spur of the moment, you forgot how it is done. A little bit of brain freeze, it happens. That sometimes you know what to do on your phone, that sometimes you have been operating your phone, but all of a sudden, you can't remember how you did it the last time. And you would take a little moment to boot to remember what it was you have been doing. So there are many possibilities. There are many possibilities and reasons for which she may not be able to know how to use her phone. Certain phones are very simple and direct. The first time I got one Android phone, I think that was a Motorola phone, I struggled to turn it off because I was looking at the conventional method of turning off. Scroll down, go to the, just press one button and the thing goes off, or press the side and it goes off. But it wasn't like that. You had to scroll down and go to the other screen and spot where you have, where you have those options, flight mode, auto, whatever, screen expansion. That's where you have other gadgets. it happened that the button to turn off the phone was just there. So you don't turn off the phone by just pressing the side or pressing any button. You will just scroll down, find the instructions and do it before the phone goes out.
Where I should go to. The woman, the second hostess now told her, I don't have time for your nonsense. Let's just switch it up. She said, I don't, okay. Mr. Martin now asked, can you spell a general? So the hostess started actually saying G, okay, G, then E. So that was the point that the gentleman on my left and I said, come on, what's going on? Calm, don't speak to her like this. Let's, the second hostess did not even acknowledge her. She didn't even to my side to even see that someone was speaking. So at that point, I asked the gentleman to arrive. I said, please, can you just help this lady? I don't use an iPhone. I've never used an iPhone, so I'm not too familiar with settings and all of that. So the gentleman to our right now took the phone and started trying to sort it out. So when that was going on, Miss Emerson started talking to the second air hostess.
Says, an air hostess now says, I don't have time for your rubbish. What? Is that how you treat a passenger? That's not how to treat a passenger. Even if you don't like what they are doing, even if you do not like what they are doing, you have a choice to keep quiet. You have a choice to walk away. You have a choice to decline. You also have a choice to be nice about it, especially for the fact that that is your job. You are the one offering a service in terms of taking care of people. Being an air hostess is tantamount to being in the hospitality industry, like being a hotel attendant where you a front desk officer, where you have to be nice to everyone, even when they are annoying. So it's part of the description of your job to help those who are boarding or who have even boarded.
Why are you embarrassing her like this? Why? Why? And then the air hostess told her, you better keep quiet now. If you say another word, I will deal with you. That was when Miss Emerson flared up and started cursing. I cannot say the things that she was actually saying because the language was very flowery and X-rated, I can't say. So that was when this second air hostess said, okay, you will see. And then she left and went towards the front of the airplane. She never came back. At least I don't recollect her coming back through the aisle throughout the flight. So that is exactly what transpired. So after that happened, the gentleman to the right switched off the phone or whatever it was he did. And a couple of passengers tried to say, switch off your phone, don't risk our lives, blah, blah, blah. And then we told them, no, that's not what happened. She never said she wasn't going to switch off her phone. She was trying to switch off her phone. She said she had issues switching it off. And so the passengers calmed down and we took off. So that is what happened. But it was clear, at least to us on the emergency exit row, it was clear that there was a problem here. It needed to be handled very well. Because this lady kept simmering throughout the flight.
The person you had surprised by telling them things they did not expect to hear from you reacts, and then you say, you better keep quiet or I will deal with you. That's already a threat. In official settings, you don't use such language for someone, no matter the provocation. I will deal with you. Dealing with you means so many things. Because it has become our pattern in Nigeria, we no longer pay attention to these things. Like we have become numb to them that we don't even see them as aggression. But when we carry these characters outside the country, abroad, we are seen as aggressive.
She was cursing. I could hear her because I was right next to her. She was really upset. She felt as if these people are just against me. And why? She said she bought this ticket with her own money. So why should they treat her like this? That's what she was saying. That's what I'm hearing. And I can't tell you what the other thing she was saying because they were really nasty. But she wasn't directing to anyone, but she was just talking. So it was clear that she was angry. And the second air hostess, the aggressor, kept checking, kept peeping to see how things are going at our end throughout the flight. I noticed it. So the passenger by my side, as we're approaching landing, we're like, God help us, so let's get out of this plane before anything happened. And we were saying it in jest, but we also knew that something was off. We're so worried that I discussed with him. I said, okay, when they were telling us to stow away and put everything ready for landing, the lady didn't even hear any of that. I told her, I said, we're landing, switch off your phone, put it away. Then the first air hostess.
Now he says the passenger, this lady, which is comforting Manson, kept simmering throughout the flight. That is, she's been provoked and she kept boiling, like maybe complaining, muttering words, meaning that the trouble has been brewing. There's a potential danger, which the airline also has a responsibility to manage.
The very polite and amiable and professional one came, helped her to stow away, helped her take her purse, put it in the cabin on top, and was very professional. So all of that happened, and then the plane landed. Once the plane landed, the first air hostess, the professional one, came to the front and started disembarking by room. Just before it came to our turn, Ms. Emerson left and went back. And I presume she went to the toilet. I used the toilet myself to fight. And I noticed that the only apartment at the back is the toilet. There isn't even an apartment, cabin crew and all of that like regular place. It's just the toilet. That's the only each of your hole puts that way. Then the second air hostess, the first air hostess, the very polite and amiable and professional one came, helped her to stow away, helped her take her purse, put it in the cabin on top.
You see, there is a point this man is making. There is another hostess who you can say to be civil enough to be good at her job. Like, you can say that this one is professional. Remember, this is also a professional talking. He's a lawyer, by the way. Now, while the other one, who is a provocator, kept checking in. You know, when you are vindictive, when you are troublesome, when you are that person who likes to provoke people, even when you don't go to pull them by the shirt, when you don't go to drag with them, there are certain behaviors you put up to make the matter escalate. Like living in Face Me, I Face You, and people come and they are clapping and they are singing and they are making, they are throwing tantrums. So she kept passing, making you feel like I'm still here, I'm still checking on you,
As a human being, as a citizen, talking about how she was handled being taken flight, and a little bit of humility and humaneness. The woman felt she was being attacked, she was being singled out, and just an apology and all whatnot, try to calm her down would have helped. I still insist that if this whole issue about switching off the phone had been handled by the first air hostess, this would not have come up at all.
Now, why do you see the need to come out and put up this make this presentation for this girl? And what do you think we can learn from all of this?
Okay, thank you. It took me a lot to actually come out for various other personal reasons going around my life right now. But I felt the need to speak up because there was only one narrative being given out there, that this was a regular, indisciplined Nigerian was refusing to pay simple instructions. That was the narrative, and the whole social media and everywhere was really fell apart. So I felt it was important to bring this narrative so they knew that it wasn't a question of indiscipline. Secondly, I thought it was important that IBOM AIR hears about how one of their air hostesses acted, so that they can learn that lady needs some training. And I also thought it was important that IBOM AIR hears about the very first air hostess, who was very professional. They even need to give that girl an award. I think she was excellent. And so that lady did so well, but the second lady did very badly. And so everyone learns from the situation. So we don't have to escalate the issue. And it's not, this ego, because that's what it was. The second air hostess, the aggressor, felt with this girl to, talk to me or do whatever, and then she wanted to show that she had power. That is what led to this. So I thought it was important to bring this out.
Mr. Dave.
So, from everything said, there was a willingness to do the right thing. But the way the person who should have been patient with her to do the right thing, handle the situation, made it escalate or degenerate to the point that it turned out to be a full-blown fight between these two ladies, a full-blown quarrel between two ladies. So at this point, I would like to also say that I don't see her posing any security risk to any passenger. One, there was a willingness to do the right thing. Two, the altercation became between her and the lady who took it personal. Because I have said in the previous video that when these instructions are given, they are given to everybody in the plane. So at what point did you now get very personal to single out this person to fall out heavily with her to the point of even fighting? If you ask me, they fought in the plane. They fought in the plane before they now started showing us the parts they want to show us. Okay, before I get there, this is a witness coming from a lawyer. You know how lawyers handle matters. They filter, they take out what they think is irrelevant, not part of the details that are needed, and they will just say the part they think is important for the case. But there's also another passenger in that plane who also had a different perspective. This time as an ordinary person watching the situation, not as this lawyer who filtered and tried to package the whole thing, probably the way they will package it in the law court. But let's hear from a passenger who watched as a simple person.
I actually dropped a message on Facebook regarding to this IBOM AIR flight saga. But I just noticed that I could actually send a message to this your WhatsApp number. I don't know if it's the right one to do, but let me just say something in regards to this air flight stuff. Honestly speaking, that lady did not do up to 10% of what I would have done if I were in her shoes. I don't want to elongate the matter. I'll just give you direct to the point where the truth is those people posted what they want everybody to see. They posted the narrative, like they created and painted the narrative that they want people to see, so people could actually pity them, or I don't know how to put it. So you grab this lady was not insultive, she was not rude, she was not, like, I don't even know the word to put. The whole issue started from the air hostess. That lady is power drunk. If there's anything like that, that's the word I can use right now. That lady is power drunk. Like, she's all this kind of Nigerian elders that want everything they say to be done the way they said it, how they want it, when they want it. Because tell me the reason you went to meet somebody. Mind you, I was on the flight. How do you go and meet somebody and say, "Hey, off your phone"? And the person's like, sorry, my phone is on flight mode. I'm actually just scrolling through my videos and editing videos." And the next thing you could raise your voice is, "All these useless children, all these people not know respect. Do I look like your mates? Do I do this? Do I do that?" And the lady is come and telling you, "But I've told you I've off it." The lady even tried to show you too before, smashed it on the floor. Excuse me. She kept quiet. Now, on coming down, okay, first of all, when you run the business on her, people are even trying to tell you, "Madam, you don't do it." They tell the story that they won't bring the plane down. Hello. Okay, the lady has kept her phone now. She kept the phone. You run her business. Now it's time to highlight from the, what is it called? The plane. You blocked her, saying you have caused security on her. People are asking you what happened. Okay, the lady is trying to come. You will push her away. She's trying to pass. You will push her away. He's saying everybody, other person should pass. See, it's a part that they wanted the country to see. That is what they posted on. The truth is, when those security people came, do you know what happened? That came very, very quiet. From the dragging of clothes to the slapping, that hair hostess literally slapped that lady. The lady did not even raise her. It's not me. Not this way they say. I for Peter first, I know say see what I really do. You smashed on the floor, pushed on the floor so people could step on her and pass, and you denied her. Then when people are trying to, okay, the security persons came, and there was a pastor in the board that was trying to you guys should calm down. This is not what happened. And the next thing that you could cover from your mouth was that you want me to use the man as as an example. Whether you want me to use the man as an example, whether not two of them plan to come bring down the people. Hello, you insulted the lady, you slapped her, you even went ahead to call her prostitutes and the rest of things. Guy, please, is there a way that you guys could actually, I beg, say, if you get what I don't know, I want to take, if you feel do this my voice to make people hear them, and I beg, I go happy well. But the truth is this, for me to come and go hard because in Nigeria matter, you know, especially how they take do this, they will do NYSC. So after voicing that at the end of everything, the 77K was being paid. Now they didn't give her NYSC. So I just send my enter your DM and tell you, well, if you guys didn't take that, may you drown. Because the truth is that it was that hair hostess, and the hair hostess now evil witch working on. Oh God, it is well.
This person says, "I would even do more than Comfort did," meaning that what you will discover that is common in these two accounts is that these two people felt provoked too, even though they are not reacting because they are not directly involved. For them to say that somebody had offended somebody, meaning that if it is me, I too will be offended. So there's an action that has the capacity to offend coming from this place. The initial narrative that it was an argument about putting off phone and not putting off phone, like I will or I will not, is ruled out now. So it's not about I will not do it or I will do it. It's about struggling to do it, and then somebody is being impatient with the person who is struggling to effect an instruction. Now, that same person was also not willing to help. That same person was not also willing to help. That's another thing. If your intentions are for good, it will show in the actions you take later. Do I want this thing to go out of hand, or do I want to solve a problem? These are questions we should be asking ourselves in every situation. And to get answers from people who are watching, they will be judging the actions that followed after the incident, after the whole, or after the initial stage of that situation. He said the air hostess slapped the lady. He said her phone was smashed on the floor. He said she called her names, unprintable names. She also said that she's going to use her to set an example. You see where we fought these people. And now, the question is, how do they escalate their matters? If somebody says, I will not do something, but in this case, they didn't even say, I will not do it. Let's even say the person saying, I will not do it. Do you have the right to hit the person or block the person like we saw in the video? No. The question now arises, how do you escalate your matters? How do you escalate issues? Like, how do you people handle these issues to make sure that it doesn't end up in pushing me and I pushing you? You don't need to touch somebody if they didn't enforce your instructions. There should be mechanisms in that place that defines how the matter will be treated if you don't do what you're supposed to do. And like I've said, The airport is a place where you cannot just walk out without a last check or checking out your load. So, but somebody wants to teach somebody a lesson. You see, our problem. I will teach you a lesson. And this other one, do you know who I am? These two things bring Nigerians out a lot. So now we've been able to establish that it's not about not following instructions. It's about someone not being patient to see the passenger effect the instruction. And for a power-drunken air hostess who feels that I will deal with you, they blocked the lady. Made sure every passenger went and she was the last person left. If you notice, everybody had gone except the cabin crew. Now look at this clip. What do you think transpired inside there? What do you think transpired inside? They would have pushed this lady, they would have done. And then at what point will you raise your hand and pull out her wig? And then you come and also stand by the door and be saying, she's slapping me or she's hitting me. She goes this way, you block her. She goes this way, you block her. You were ready for a fight. What are you not saying? You were ready for a fight. And this is unacceptable and uncalled for. Now, this lady was wanting to go out. And before you know it, she's no longer going out. What happened? Okay, let's say she's refusing to submit herself to the security. What do you still do? You wait for her to calm down. There's no way she will not, at a point, break down.